Hey, what's up, guys? Alan here with EatSleepTrade.net. Going to be bringing you guys the swing trading watch list and market update for June 27th. Is the stock market crashing and is it going to continue lower? We're going to get into that in just a second and go over some of the stocks that are or seem to be stronger in this weak market and something that might be tradable. Alright, so let's take a look at the S&P 500, and as you guys can see, Friday was a large sell-off. Futures sold off big the night before, so this came at no surprise for anybody that was watching futures. And not only did it gap down, but even after the gap down, it continued selling off, coming all the way down to a low of 2032. Will this sell-off continue, or is it over-exaggerated? So let's talk about that. If you guys are on social media, then you know within the first 5 minutes of the market opening, it had dropped down to 2055 area of support. Everybody was calling the market long here. Pick up the dip. This is overreaction, and people probably did get a decent trade into this, but it was short-lived. You're talking, 30, 40 minute little tiny pop relative to the move down, and you can see that the market clearly continued to trend down for the rest of the day. So everybody who thought that it wouldn't sell off more because of this big early sell-off was still wrong, and the market continued to go down. So don't trade what you guys think the market's going to do. Trade what you see happening, and clearly intraday you can see there's an obvious downtrend even after the big sell-off. And this, while I do agree, is an overreaction. Right now, it doesn't matter if it's an overreaction because people are scared, they're frightened. You can see the lot of selling pressure that came in right before the close. So, there's a good possibility that people are more afraid right now than they were starting on Friday because the stock market continued to trend down, didn't bounce, and even had a pretty big sell-off into the close. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next week. Got a couple stocks or a couple of my favorites here from our scans and watch list that I will be watching into next week. But I will, of course, be trading very cautiously, as all of you should as well, because the reality is this is only day one, and even though day one's an overreaction, that's a big enough dip to cause fear and panic. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at CLNE. This is one we had a great trade on. Here was our entry. We sold up second red day or first red day here for 20% profit. And you can see it gap down, nice big relative volume, and people were here to scoop up the dip right off this bottom trend line support. You also have kind of a larger wedge formation here if you count this new high that we got after breaking out of that consolidation. So that's a good area to kind of watch, is in this area 330, 340. See if we get some continuation off that hammer candle. Next, let's take a look at EXAS. This is one we had from last week, looking for some type of short squeeze to occur, and you could see right here, even with the market being completely red, this one still grinded up a little bit higher. It's just below 12 bucks right now, and like I said, above 11 could start getting people nervous. You start getting up 12, 12.50, and you're really going to start getting people nervous with this gap fill up above, and volume comes in. Shorts are forced to cover, and you could still see a big squeeze with this. So we're going to keep that on close watch, especially with the relative strength that it's had in a weak market. Let's look at FMSA. Same thing again. We were watching this consolidation a while back, a little pennant right here. Obviously did not work, ended up gapping down, but buyers still came back into it. brought it basically all the way back up to $8. Friday gapped down with the market, but again, buyers stepped in, bought up the dip on this one. So keep $8 on watch. If you see a decent amount of volume coming through and looks like some confirmation that it's going to hold above 8, could give you a good entry opportunity. Let's take a look at MYCC. So you can see we've had this one on watch before. It's kind of broken down below this initial consolidation or wedge that we were looking at, but has still held up. Friday, good volume, a lot of buyers came in. Our 20-day moving average is getting close to that 50-day moving average. So I think it's worth to adjust lines here as time has gone on. We can keep this top one really just the same, and with that big volume we'll see if we get a continuation back over these prior highs, which is right around 1350 or so. Let's take a look at the ONVO. Trending up pretty nicely, just one that's holding up good in the market. I like it over this resistance area right here. You can see that's a pretty significant resistance area with a possible move, up into this area around $4. So if we get a move break over 350 and looks like it's going to hold that 350, our next area may be $4 on that. All right, let's take a look at TERP. We've gone over this one on the watch list before. You can see it coming off this bottom support, multi-bottom support, and sort of making a descending triangle. So of course a breakdown below this 720, 730 area is going to be very bearish, but at the same time the stock is holding up. And if we zoom in a little bit, you can see it's got some pretty good relative strength, consolidating up here now. So look for some type of move back over $9 and see if we can get to break to the top side of that wedge. BCOR, nice relative strength on this one as well, good volume. Had a nice move over 950, which was off the watch list idea. Gapped down, came down a little bit to its 20-day, but again, big relative volume. A lot of buyers willing to step in to buy the dip on this one, and probably looking for a move up towards this 1070, 1080 resistance area next week. ORBC, this is one we were able to take a trade on. I did tweet it live right here. Our entry was 968. 5 minutes later, it started rocking and rolling, made a good push all the way to 10. Friday gap down, but again, buyers stepped in, big relative volume, and pushed it back up towards 10. So still long on that and looking for some type of move over 10, maybe up to 1040 or so. Alright guys, so it's going to wrap it up for this week's watch list and market update. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos. Also, check out the website eatsleeptrade.net. We're trying to develop new content for you guys on there. You can check all of our previous watch list as well. Follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page so you can stay up to date with all the stocks that we are watching and trading. Alright, good luck into next week guys. Use caution and we'll see you in the next video.